This conference will
All
now
right.
be
So
recorded.
last week we gave an introduction to Tefilah, to prayer, right? The challenge being, why would anything that I have to say affect what God is going to do? Meaning, what am I going to add to the conversation that is not uh, already being taken into account by God? And the two general approaches, and God loves us, and God wants to do what's best for us, right? And God's a good parent. So if it's not good for us, all of the kvetching, hello, Rachel, all of the kvetching is not going to change anything. And we offered two main approaches. One is the approach, hello, Orly, how are you? So nice to see you, right? So one approach is that Hashem, and based on a Rashi we saw in the beginning of Bereshit about the rain coming, there was no rain because there was not yet a person to ask for it. And that is the idea that God wants there to be a relationship. So a parent might be very, very willing and want to give to a child, but wants to have a relationship with the child. So will not just deposit the funds into the account. They want to have that conversation, that phone call, that relationship. And God, who, as we understand it, created this world in order for us to share in his goodness. So the only way we can do that is by our building a relationship with God, and tefillah, prayer, is the strongest vehicle through which we can build this connection, this feeling of close intimacy, relationship with God. And therefore, even though it's great for us, even though God wants to do it, right, but he wants us to make that connection, to reach out and to build that trust and that love and that intimacy, that connection. That's one major approach. Another major approach is that of the Sefer Ikarim, and that is God's going to do what is best for you at all times, right? But remember from the Lion King, but who are you? Is what I think someone so asked. What was his name? The voodoo guy, right? Rafiki. Huh? Rafiki, thank you. But who are you? Rafiki asked, right? And therefore, we are constantly in flux in who we are. And therefore, if we are in flux, then what's best for us is also in flux. And prayer has the ability to change us, to elevate us. So prayer does not change God. God is a constant, and God's constant is he will do what's good for you. But what's good for you is dependent on who you are and where you are at. And therefore, tefillah has the capacity to change you, and therefore God's consistent equation will now change as we change some of the factors. The factor that we're changing is who I am. So whereas God, let me win Powerball and get $480 million, that might not be very good for me to get that. All of a sudden I'm going to say, Bet Jacob, it's been nice, right? But I'm going to Disney World, right? Whatever it is, right? And all of a sudden God's going to say, hey, Cena, I gave you $480 million. What are you doing with it? Why aren't you taking care of all the poor? Why aren't you making sure every Jewish kid is in Jewish school? Why aren't you making sure that every orphan has a place to live? Why aren't you? Why aren't you? Why aren't you? So if I'm not going to do that, it's not in my best benefit to win that Powerball. I guess why I haven't won it until now. Not that I buy the tickets, but whatever. However, tefillah has the capacity to change me. And all of a sudden I have this intimate connection with God through my tefillah. All of a sudden, oh, now if Cena wins the Powerball, he's going to use it properly. Okay. So then Powerball can come in. Okay. Two major approaches. So again, if tefillah is meant to be changing us, A, and B, building a relationship, so it can't just be murmuring words that we don't know what they mean and that don't mean anything to us, even if we understand the meaning, right? So that's why I don't like the term daven. To me has a connotation of like just rattling it off, right? And the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law, says better to do a little with kavanah, with intent, with understanding, with feeling, than doing a lot without. Okay, so let's go through the basic structure of the davening, and this differs for men and women in terms of the obligation. Men have the obligation to be davening with a minyan, with a quorum. Women do not. Okay, and that I don't want to go into it, right? But that is the reason why women are not the chazanim or chazanot, whatever we would call it. They don't lead the services because they're not obligated in this communal service. And in general, we have a rule the same way that if an Israeli is here, visiting here, an Israeli keeps one day of Yom Tov, and it's our second day of Yom Tov, he can't do the Kiddush for me, for us, because since he's not obligated, we can fulfill our obligation through him. Only a person who's obligated. When it comes to Kiddush on a Friday night, a woman can make the Kiddush Friday night for the family. A woman is equally obligated in Kiddush as a man is. When it comes to communal prayer, a woman is not obligated as a man. Therefore, a woman cannot be motzi, cannot be the shliach tzibur, the person, the chazan, that leads and others fulfill their mitzvah through them. Okay?
Does that mean when the woman asks for prayer, through prayer you ask for things that you wanted from Hashem? Does it mean
100% women are fully obligated are obligated to pray, not in communal prayer. Therefore, a woman has that same mitzvah of prayer. The woman has the same connection. She can do it here also. I'm just explaining. Nothing wrong. I know some women were coming consistently every morning for a while, right? That's fine, right? I'm just explaining why the women do not read from the Torah, right? All these things which are communal, which are part of the communal davening, and through that person doing it, everyone fulfills their obligation. The key word is the obligation. Okay? So the structure of the davening, let's say the morning davening, which the first part everyone has, which is the brachot. It is the morning blessings. We're going to go through some of them and hopefully get a better understanding in some of them. And again, the Tefilah is meant to be a meaningful experience. It's not just checking the box, okay? But the structure is brachot. We have, right, that men and women. We have the introductory paragraphs, mostly from Tehillim, called Psuke de Zimra, from Psalms. We have the Shema, right? And that's for everyone. That is set off by two brachot before, one bracha after, okay? Women will often do brachot. We'll do the Shema. We'll do the bracha afterwards. And then the Amidah, okay? The Amidah is the silent meditation, right, of 18, actually 19 brachot, okay? And then we conclude, right, with women conclude with Aleinu, men conclude with a few more things, and then the Aleinu, okay? Not to say that a woman can't do all of it, right? But, well, we'll see. The bracha that a woman makes is Shasani Kirtsono. You've made me in accordance with your will. And that speaks to the idea that a woman needs less. Men need a lot of reminders. Kippah, tefillin, tzitzit, all of these reminders. Women are inherently more aligned with the ratzon, with the will of God, and therefore they need less of these reminders. Men kind of need a 2x4 over our heads, and we still don't necessarily get it, right? That's the nature of men. Nothing personal. I'm the same way, guys. Okay, we're all in the same boat. Okay, so let's go to the very beginning. Those of you, right? If people have their siddur or take notes, however you want to do it. If you have the art scroll, whether it's the brown art scroll, the black art scroll, or any siddur you have, it's going to start with Modeh Ani. Okay? And that is, the Modeh Ani is a very, very powerful, powerful prayer. And that is what really the first thing we're supposed to be saying in the morning. So if you have the Art Scroll black or brown, it is page 2. Okay? And that is the first thing a person is supposed to say in the morning. Now, typically, we're not allowed to learn Torah or to say any prayers, any blessings, if we need to use the facilities. Okay, if we need the bathroom. Typically in the morning, we wake up, we need the bathroom. Okay, therefore we don't make any blessings right away. But Modeh Ani is not a blessing, and if a Modeh Ani could be said right upon awakening. And it's very powerful when this is the first thing that a person says in the morning. So let's take a look at it. Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam. English says, I gratefully thank you. Okay? Modeh ani, modeh, thank, ani, I, lefanecha, before you. Melech, the king, chai, alive, kayam, eternal. Shehechazarta bi nishmati bichemla, that you have returned my soul to me with compassion. Right? With compassion, you have returned my soul to me. Rabba emunatecha. Abundant is your faithfulness. Now, there's a lot that's being said over here. First of all, I take issue with the English saying, I gratefully thank you, because the Hebrew is modeh ani. Not ani, I, modeh. Not I gratefully thank, but gratefully I thank you would have been a better translation. Why is that important? So we live in a world of the iPhone, the iPad, right? You name it. It's all about me, 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 me. Okay? Therefore, the sages who established this tefillah did not want the first word out of our mouth to be ani, I, modeh, I. No, the first word out of our mouth is modeh, thank you. Now, modeh is a fascinating word. Modeh means to thank. It also means to admit. Why would thanking and admitting be the same word? I'm thanking, what am I admitting?
That when you're thankful. If not even that, you're actually like believing it truly.
Okay.
You're like genuinely believing that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not just
Okay.
saying it, just thank you on top of your tongue.
Okay. Rafa, what do you want to say?
That it's not, you're admitting that it's not from you, or you're insufficient, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Edwin, what do you want to say? Along the same lines. Yeah. Right. Right. I'm acknowledging that right, I am a rock, I'm an island. No, doesn't work like that. Right? I am dependent. There's something that came from others that I was unable to furnish on my own. So the very first word is modeh, right? I thank, I gratefully acknowledge, I gratefully thank you. Modeh ani. The first word is modeh, is thanks. And that's a very powerful thing. You have many Reader's Digest articles, right? How living with a sense of gratitude creates a whole different mindset for you and for all those around you, because we have a profound effect, not just on ourselves, but on all those around us also. When a person is living with an attitude of gratitude, right? So then it becomes very, very positive all around us. The first word we say is modeh. Now, why do I need on the word ani at all? Why do I need the word ani at all? Modeh lefanecha. Who else is thanking? I'm the one who's talking. Clearly, I'm the one who's expressing my thanks. Why is it important to have the word ani right there? Right after Modeh, Modeh ani lefanecha. Why is the ani important?
You're not talking about third person.
Okay, but I think it's a safe assumption that I'm talking about me. I'm not saying, I don't wake up and say, God, Natalie's thanking you, right? My Natalie, not this Natalie. Yeah, right? It's clear that it's ani, right? I'm talking on behalf of myself, right?
We have a obligation to participate in God's creation.
Okay, nice, David. We have to participate in God's creation. And I take that a step further, that we have to recognize that we're bringing something to the table over here. Meaning, if God has given me back my soul, what does that say? What does that tell?
That he cares for me.
He cares for me and he thinks I've got something to do today. So I have to have a certain sense of anochiyut. I have to have a certain sense of self, of a recognition that I'm not a nobody. How do I know I'm not a nobody? Well, God sent me back for another day. I guess he's got some plans for me, right? There's something that I can accomplish. And take it a step further, I can accomplish and no one else can. Someone else can, he doesn't need me or doesn't need them, right? If I'm here, it's because there's something that's here for me to accomplish. So therefore, it's important to have a healthy sense of self, right? Not this egotistical, inflated view of oneself, but a healthy sense of self. Modeh ani, I. That's important. Lifanecha, before you. That's an important word. What is that letting us know? I'm about to start the day. Where am I? Lifanecha. I'm before you. I'm in front of you, God. Right? Something that we have written above our Aron Kodesh, our ark, is the words Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. I've always placed God right before me. Right? And the very beginning of Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish law, when it comes to Orach Chaim, says that this is a very fundamental concept. Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. I've placed God before me. Because the way we act when there's a camera on us, the way we act when we're being watched is different than the way we act when we're not being watched. And therefore, a person needs to have that sense of, I am in God's presence. And that affects the way that I'm going to be acting throughout this day. Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam, king, living, eternal. Shehechazarta bi nishmati. This is based on the concept, the Kabbalistic concept, that we have different components of soul, different parts of the soul. Some of that is in our body, some of that is hovering over our body. I always say when the Twin Towers came down, for a while they had at the memorial site, they had these two incredibly strong spotlights shooting up, this beam of light up to the heavens. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, oh, that's such a beautiful depiction of what a human being is. That we walk on this earth, but we have this neshama that shoots out from us up into the heavens. That's who we are. And when we are alive, the neshama can be in us. When a person dies, the neshama then leaves and goes on to the next stage, our next stage, without the physical body, but it's still 100% us. Okay? And when we sleep, sleeping is a quasi-death state in terms of our ability to do things and the brain functioning in a conscious manner. And therefore, in a Kabbalistic level, part of the neshama leaves. And then in the morning, it comes back to us. So that is what we are speaking about over here. The Ramchal speaks about how is it that a person will sometimes have a dream that lets the person know either what will happen. Most of our dreams are just a funny mix. I wake up usually laughing when I remember my dreams. It's like that was so bizarre. Like now that I was have a series of Rabbi Sinner's dreams. It could be a very funny series, right? But so usually the Gemara says most of it is Devarim B'Teilim. It's different things happening during the day, concerns all getting strewn together in a very, very strange manner. But there are times that a dream lets us know what's going to happen, or lets us know what's happening in another place. All right, many, many stories we have of women in Israel waking up in the middle of the night and feeling the need to say Tehillim, and then finally being able to go back to sleep, and in the morning getting a call from their son that he was in the army and they were under attack and he was really, really in danger. And they asked him, what time did that happen? And that was exactly the time that the mother woke up and felt the need to say something to him. So dreams can sometimes really, really plug into something beyond. How? Ramchal says very simple. When a person is asleep, part of the neshama leaves, and then it's able to deal with others in that spiritual realm and can be privy in the spiritual realm, which is not bound by time or space. It can be privy to something that's going to happen, that is happening elsewhere. And then the person will either wake up, or when they wake up, they remember something. And that is a vision of something that will happen. Again, in the spiritual realm, it's not bound by time. So we thank God, Shehechazarta bi nishmati. I forget which sefer I saw this, but this idea, that a person is going before the heavenly tribunal, and they're deciding, should the person be given more time on earth? And the person pleads, please, 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 there's more that I need to do. Please, please, give me more time. And the heavenly tribunal, they say, we'll give you more time. Right? 5 minutes later, the person's alarm goes off. Wakes up. Oh, I gotta get up again. Oh, and starts to complain. Oh, another day. Oh no, I got so much to do, all these appointments. Oh. Right? After the soul had just been pleading with the heavenly tribunal, please give me another day. That's us every morning. Oh, where's the snooze button? Oh, give me 9 more minutes. Why is it 9 minutes? I'm gonna figure that out. Why is it 9 minutes? Where did they get that? That's a question for ChatGPT. Okay. So Shechazarta bi nishmati, that you have returned to me, nishmati, my soul. You have returned it to me, bichemla, with compassion. Why are you saying it's with compassion? Well, the track record might not be impeccable, right? Yesterday might not have been my finest work, right? Maybe I haven't been fully doing what I could be doing, what I should be doing. Bichemla. And here are 2 great words. Rabba emunatecha. Abundant is your faithfulness. What in the world does that mean? Abundant is your faithfulness. What does that mean, guys? Well, welcome to unmute your Zooms and chime in. What is this? Abundant is your faithfulness.
Faithful in us, in human beings.
Okay. Proud, Natalie? It's your Ryan speaking of it.
Oh, good.
Say it again, Ryan.
Faithful in us as humans, or as the children of Hashem. So faithful
Good.
in us,
God
even when we
is
make mistakes.
Exactly. God is showing faith in us that we can do some good stuff today. Do we have our free will to do good stuff?
Yes.
Yes. Does God know if we're going to do good stuff or not?
Yes.
Yes. So, but there's a certain degree of faith as parents, right?
As
We-
Adam said, God watching you
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the time.
So we trust we trust our kids, right? Different levels, different ages, right? Do we know they're always going to get it right? No, they're not, because we know that we don't always get it right, so we can't expect them to always get it right. But we have a faith in them to give them the opportunity, the choice. That's how we show faith. I'm allowing you to make that decision. Great is God's faithfulness in us that he gives us another day. Okay? So that is really this pact first statement that we make. So ideally it shouldn't be I just said it, right? But if I do it like that, it's not going to have much meaning. So we want to try to take out some time and some thought and to feel this, My brother, Lava Shalom, Josh, was a great guy, and he was his first thing in the morning, I think before Modeh was good morning, Hashem. Right? Just trying to have that actual relationship, right? That connection that he would do. Okay. So the first thing in the morning is Modeh Ani. Okay?
Are you okay? Are you allowed to say it in English?
Yes. Yes. I would say it in English and then work on saying it in Hebrew, right? In other words, again, we want to understand what we're saying, but slowly transition to the Hebrew, making sure that we know what we're saying. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I will be saying third white, and then I'll be like, I'm like, I don't remember what it is, and I'm trying to look at it. I just woke up, I can't see what I wrote, and
Yeah.
it's just like halfway there.
Yeah. So I would say let's start with the English, Natalie, and get into the habit of saying it. And then like maybe say Modeh Ani, I gratefully thank you. Maybe say those first two words. Then Modeh Ani Lefanecha the next week. And then, right? And then slowly add, we have time. We have
What
time.
if you put that, because there's a Chabad.org, they have that prayer, and then they can say it, like sing a song, but very slowly for you. What if I put that on and then follow what they say?
That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
You just
Whatever.
can't say it in Chinese, right?
Huh?
Or your own language.
Yeah. Whatever works for you.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
I was
Okay.
gonna suggest one of the things that we did when we were learning some of our prayers, especially the shorter ones, because those tend to be the easier ones to learn, is we would put it on a card.
Okay.
And for this one, I actually put it in frames for us, so we can have it by our bedsides.
Okay.
And it had it in actual Hebrew letters, and then it would be the transliteration, and then it would be English. So that as the time went on, like I would, try to say in Hebrew. Eventually it was funny because right now we're going over it in English, and I've only been doing it in Hebrew for the last couple of years. And I had to oh yeah, I know the idea of it, but the actual breakdown of the words. So, but I think sometimes if you have like the smaller prayers and you start to learn the transliteration of it, and then when you're learning the Hebrew, you can start to follow along because you've gotten the transliteration kind of here.
Yeah.
It helps.
Nice. Thank you, Rachel. Good. Yeah, to make that,
So-
and they could, gradually make that transition. Beautiful.
So for me, I
Yes.
grew up pretty reformed. So even a couple of years ago, when I was like trying to do the Mita, and I was so slow, and I was just frustrated, and because I had to go to work or whatever, I was just getting impatient. So I just had to zoom past, and I zoomed past, and even after a year, I never got it because I didn't try to like really focus on it. But one of the things that helped me was I would listen when I had a little bit more time. I would listen to like a recording that recited it, and then I would slow it down, and then I would say it and read it along. And you could
Nice.
read along the English transliteration, but I actually had to just stand up, and actually commit for like 10 or 15 minutes. That helped
Nice,
me a lot.
nice, beautiful, Ryan. And I think it's very important. There's no this is the formula. Everyone's different. Everyone connects differently. Everyone finds it. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. And you have to see what works for you. And the goal is to get to the point where we can say it in Hebrew and understand what we're saying, but get there at your pace in the manner that best works for you. Okay? So after that Modeh, then typically, like I said before, usually in the morning we need the facilities, right? So we go take care of that, okay? And then we should wash our hands in a certain prescribed manner, okay? And this is the manner that we do it only upon waking up in the morning. And the manner is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And that's why we have the Jewish cups, right?
Two handles.
Right? Two handles. It's interesting. We flew back from Israel. We flew back. One of the legs was El Al. And El Al has these little washing cups in the bathroom, which is great. So when having bread, there's some of your bread meal, right? You need to wash. When you have those little paper cups, it's hard. This is like a little washing cup. And I was talking to Natalie about it, and she said that when she was flying once, she was sitting amongst this whole church group, and they were all talking with her about different things, asking her questions. She's a great ambassador for Judaism. So they asked, what are those? What's that little cup we see in the bathroom with these two little handles on it? So she said, oh, we use that for a ritual washing of our hands. I said, oh, are we allowed to use that cup? She said, if you like to use that cup, you're allowed. You're allowed to use that cup. That won't be a problem. Okay. In Hebrew, it's called a natlan, right? Actually, when we were in a store in Israel, so they have typically it's a cup with the two handles, right? And you don't need that. It just makes it easier. As long as you have a cup, you use this also.
Start with the right.
Okay, yeah, okay. We're getting some details over here, right? So ideally, in general, we start with the right. Okay, again, in a Kabbalistic sense, the right stands for the attribute of kindness, and the left represents the attribute of justice. Okay, so we always want to start with the right. So we fill it in the right hand, then we pass it to the left hand, and have the left hand pour on the right hand. Meaning what? Right? Justice, you serve. You work for me. You work for Chesed. You work for Chesed. Know who's the boss around here. Right? You fill the right hand. Here, get to work. And then we switch off. Right? So we want din to be serving Chesed. We want judgment to be subservient. The overwhelming midah should be Chesed, should be kindness. There needs to be a certain degree of din, right? Like a parent, right? There's discipline and there's love. Overwhelming love, but it needs to have some discipline, but the discipline is subservient to the love. Yeah. Anyway.
What about the custom of washing one hand 3 times and then the other hand?
Okay. So there are 2 times that we need to wash our hands in a ritual manner, right? Meaning after the bathroom, we need to wash our hands, right? Get some water, get some soap, and wash your hands, right? We don't need to wash after the bathroom in a ritual manner. The 2 times that we need to wash in a ritual manner are, number 1, upon awaking in the morning, right? And there the ritual manner is fill in the right, pass to the left. And the other time is before eating a bread-based meal. Before, right? So then when eating, the way we wash for that is 1, 2, 1, 2. Chabad says 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Yes.
So
Lily.
that is just when you're eating bread? I didn't know there was a difference for the morning Netzalat Yadayim and then the one for
Correct. Correct.
bread. Okay, so which one's for bread again? What do you do?
The bread, it's 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh,
And the morning is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay?
And then we also wash our hands when we visit graves.
Correct. Correct.
and how
Correct.
do you do that one?
That would also be actually 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Nelly. That's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So is the
After
morning-
leaving a cemetery,
Is the morning Netzalat Yadayim the only time you do 3?
and also a cemetery.
What about for Shabbat?
That's bread,
Shabbat dinner? Okay, so
That's
2.
bread.
Okay.
right? In other words, on Shabbat we typically have a bread meal, right? But that's not for Shabbat.
Okay, I
That's
keep doing
for-
3, so now
It's
I'm going
okay.
to be doing 2.
Either one is okay, right? You know, right? It should be a minimum of 2, right? If you're doing 3, there's no need to do 3, right? The minhag of Ashkenaz is 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So you haven't done anything wrong by doing 3. Okay, you're
What
good
if
to
your
go.
hands are so dirty? So can you wash your hands with soap and then wash it?
Either or,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can do this and then wash your hands with
Correct.
soap.
correct, absolutely. Yeah.
What
There.
about before davening?
Okay, before davening, also a person, well, if you've washed in the morning, then you're good for davening, right? But let's say, no, but let's say mincha, then one, okay. So why are we washing our hands,
To remove
right?
impurities.
Okay, so there's why we washing our hands and why we washing our hands in that manner, okay? So there are basically 3 reasons why we wash our hands in the morning, okay? Now, the washing of the hands can be done even before we use the facilities or after, okay? Right? Okay? But, and we'll discuss the blessing in a moment, okay? 3 reasons why we wash our hands in the morning, right? One of them is this Kabbalistic reason, and that's why it's done in this manner, and that is when a person is asleep. So then, as we said before, part of the soul leaves. When the soul leaves, when there's an absence of Kedusha, then that is filled by Tuma, by impurity. And in a Kabbalistic sense, that when we wake up, it gets pushed to our hands, right? And therefore we wash our hands in order to rid ourselves of that ruach ra, it's called, that spirit of impurity. Okay? Another reason is because whenever we touch covered parts of our body, if I were to reach my hand in there and start scratching over there, then I should wash my hands before I do any prayer or any Torah study, whenever we touch the covered parts of our body. And the third reason, which is the one that resonates the most for me, is that a person, a Kohen, the priest who would do the service in the Beit HaMikdash, before he would do his service, he needed to wash his hands. Okay? When we wake up, we're about to enter our Beit HaMikdash, our temple. What is our temple? What is our Beit HaMikdash? Our world. Meaning the temples where a person did avodah, service of God. Well, my service of God is how I treat the people around me, how I do my job at work. Go to daven, I do this, I deal with that person, I deal with this person. That is my Beit HaMikdash. That is my place of avodah, place of service to God. And therefore, washing our hands in the morning reminds us that we're about to enter our own personal Beit HaMikdash, which is our family, our interactions, our friends, our community, our work, our peers, all the above. Our whole day is our Beit HaMikdash. Therefore, we need to wash our hands in order to ready ourselves for that.
But then the washing thing, why do we have to put right next to our bed?
Okay.
For example,
Okay.
you use the bathroom and
Okay.
then
Okay.
wash is right there.
Yes.
Going back to the
Yes. So there are opinions that say you should not walk Dalit Amot, 6 feet without washing your hands, and therefore there are people who are careful to have a washing basin and a washing cup next to their bed. There are other opinions that under the same roof, it's all considered your Dalit Amot, your 4 cubits, and therefore, if you have it by the sink, you get up, you go to the sink, and you wash your hands. That is also okay.
But then you use the restroom and then you wash, right?
Either or. Either or.
So you
Okay.
wash your hand and then you use the bathroom?
Yes. Right. It,
And
if
then
you
out
can.
again.
Right. Sometimes there's a sense of urgency in the morning without going into too much detail.
Right,
So-
right.
So everyone's got to know
Yeah.
what works for them. Right. Yes.
Okay, so, it doesn't matter, okay, so the first, blessing is, or prayer is, Modeh,
Correct.
and then after, it doesn't matter whether it's Netilat Yadayim or Asher Yatzar?
Okay. Okay. So you can't make your brachot in the morning, both Netilat Yadayim for washing the hands and Asher Yatzar after using the facilities, bathroom, when you need to use the bath, right? You can't do it until you've washed your hands properly and until you've used the bathroom, right? In general, you can't make a bracha when you need to use the facilities, right? And you also can't make a bracha in the morning until you've washed your hands. So in whichever order you're going to do the washing in the bathroom, after that is when you can make your bracha.
Okay, so it doesn't matter which order those.
Correct. But you have to check both those boxes.
Okay,
Okay. Now, I personally don't make my blessing at that point. I do all my morning blessings together as I'm going to shul. So I will wash my hands, use the bathroom. I'm not making any brachot at that point. I said my moda'ani. I'm not making any brachot at that point. Right. I'm gonna get myself dressed, right, and get into the car, head to shul, and at that point, so a person also, you can, after you've gotten yourself up in the morning, and the aron needs to be tended to, right? So when you have a time to daven, that's when you can put all of your brachot together. Whereas the only 2 times that we make a blessing of al netilat yadayim, when washing our hands, even at the cemetery, we don't. The only times we make the blessing of al netilat yadayim is in the morning and before eating bread. By the bracha, by bread, needs to be right after we've washed, before we dry our hands. The morning blessing on the Tefilah day, same blessing, but the blessing that we make on washing our hands in the morning does not need to be exactly at that juncture. It could be incorporated into our morning blessings of
After
Tefilah.
we say Netilat Yadayim before washing for bread, we're not supposed to talk before we say the blessing for the bread. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is
And
correct.
then that's even like for lunch or something when we have a sandwich.
Whenever we're having a bread meal.
Is pizza mazonos or hamotzi?
Now we're getting technical, Ryan. So pizza could be mezonot. The rule, when we do our segment on brachot, we'll show that if you are being koveya a su'uda, it's called, if you are establishing a meal, and typically 2 slices of pizza is considered to be establishing a meal, then you would wash and make hamotzi on that. If you're having 1 slice or a half slice, then you just make mezonot on that.
I think I can not have less than 6 slices, so I guess it's hamotzi.
so then it's hamotzi for you.
Yes. So for you, the answer is a clear hamotzi. Yes, Rachel, you want to say something? Rachel? Oh.
I answered that.
Okay, Lily.
Okay, wait, I'm still not 100% sure. So Modeh, and then we have to do Netilat Yadayim, and then Asher Yatzar can be at a later time when we're praying?
Netilat Yadayim and Asher Yatzar can both be done later.
But then you still have to do the hand washing before you start praying?
Yes.
Okay.
No. If you've washed your hands, and pretty soon after, right? I wash my hands when I wake up, and then I get myself dressed, blah, 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 right? And then I don't come to shul and wash my hands again. I've washed my hands already. Actually, before I leave my house, I wash again because when I'm
But
getting
then you
dressed,
say
I
that-
touch my shoes, this, that. So before I start saying my brachot, I wash my hands again, just 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'm good to go.
So you say Netilat Yadayim when you start doing
Correct,
all-
correct.
And Asher Yatzar also.
I incorporate Netilat Yadayim,
Okay.
Asher Yatzar, Elokai Neshama, Birchat HaTorah, Birchat HaShachar.
Okay.
We'll go through these different brachot. I
In
incorporate
the
that all
morning-
in just in one string of brachot. Yes,
In the
now.
morning when you use the restroom, before you wash your hand after Modeh, are you gonna do the prayer or you use the restroom prayer?
I'm going to wait for that until I'm doing all my brachot on the way to
Because
shul.
you went to, I mean, you do that when you go to the bathroom second time.
So if
So
you're going
it's-
to know, if you know yourself and you need to go to the bathroom a second time, so then you'd want to do it after the first time. Because otherwise, once you have to go to the bathroom a second time, you can't make a bracha, and then you go to the bathroom, and then you've missed out on that Asher Yatzar opportunity.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then you can't say the Asher Yatzar inside the restroom, right? You need to
Correct.
be outside.
We can't. We would never say a bracha while we are in the restroom itself. It needs to be a place of
What
holiness.
about Netilat Yadayim?
Also, not in the bathroom.
Oh, I've been doing that.
Okay.
So do I go to my kitchen? That
Huh?
kitchen?
You could wash there, but not make the bracha there.
Oh, wait, so I can wash in the restroom and then walk outside and do the bracha.
Correct. Or you could wash in the restroom and incorporate the bracha into your morning prayers.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
if you have like the sink of your restroom has a separate door just for the toilet.
Oh, so
And
then
if
you,
you-
okay. When we're talking about the restroom, we're not talking about a very nice California setup, which we didn't have in the East Coast, and that is you've got a room for the toilet and a bath, and then you have this completely with its own door and another room with the sinks, right? So that sink room is not a bathroom. That's a sink room. That door would need a mezuzah, by the way, right?
Okay.
Just as an aside, a bathroom door, the door that leads into either the toilet or the bath, right, would not have a mezuzah. But if you have a door that leads into the sink room, and then the door leads from that sink room into the bathroom, the sink room to the bathroom, not the room from the hall, the doorway from the hallway into the sink room does. Right? Okay? And that's the idea that
Just
such
like
a
over
room.
here.
I'm sorry?
Just like over here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, here we have a sink both in and out. Right? Yeah.
So if I'm gonna wash my hands before davening for mincha, no bracha,
No bracha.
no,
That is correct. That is correct.
only
Okay.
one time.
Let's just touch upon this for a minute, then we're down in a few minutes. The bracha of Al Netilat Yadayim is a very interesting bracha. First of all, it's saying that God commanded us. Every bracha, Asher Kiddushanu, you've sanctified us with a mitzvah. That's a very powerful statement. What we're saying is a mitzvah changes us, sanctifies us. Vitzivanu, and you commanded us Al Netilat Yadayim, on literally the lifting up, but on the sanctification of our hands. Our hands represent our actions in the world. Okay? And therefore, I would say after a funeral, when we leave the cemetery, we wash our hands because after hearing about this person who passed away and what they accomplished in their life, and confronting mortality, we recognize that life is precious, every day is a gift, and we want to consecrate our hands to make sure that we are accomplishing. So Netilat Yadayim is this idea of consecrating, of starting the day with this consecration, this holiness.
When you visit a cemetery and after you do Netilat Yadayim, is it in the restroom at the cemetery or when
So
you get back home?
it depends, right? Kabbalistically, ideally, you want to do it before you go into your house. So if someone could put some water outside, they do that. Otherwise, in your house. But the cemeteries, either the restrooms in the cemetery, you could do it over there, or Harbor Lawn, the entrance all the way to the left as you're facing the street, has a sink there set up with a washing conference. Yeah. Okay, my friends, I got mincha. Good. Next week, davening is going to be at 7:15. So can we meet at 6:15?
Yes.
Okay, next week, 6:15. If someone could put that on the chat, that would be helpful. Okay, thank you.
Quick question.
Yes,
So,
good seeing everybody.
was
Yeah.
when the first temple built, does people think Moshiach came because the temple was there?
No,
How about for the second temple?
no,
So, from the beginning, they said we want Moshiach now.
correct.
Who brought that idea? I mean, not idea, I'm so sorry. Who said we need Moshiach? Like, is
The
Torah?
Rambam lists it as one of the 13 principles of faith, and it's alluded to in the Torah, and it's throughout the prophets. We have all about Mashiach.
Yeah, I think they even made a song about it.
Okay, so that, okay, so it's from the
Do you
day
want-
one then.
Rabbi, I have a question, but I guess I'll ask you on Thursday when we have a little bit more time.
Okay,
If
yes,
that's
I
okay.
got that one now. I want to keep
Okay,
it.
okay, thank you.
Do you
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.